Hey, well, I've not done this morning video or a midday video, but today it's nearly sunset and it's the first video of the day. I did think about it and I thought, do you know what, it doesn't feel right because some things are more of a priority today, and that's sitting with myself. I've realised that I've got a few things going on for me at the moment. One is I'm noticing that I'm caught in the trance of unworthiness. This means it's kind of where we, as humans, when we're caught in this, we work on autopilot when we're not fully in the present moment. When we're just doing things rather than being, and we're maybe short-tempered and tense. That's how I am at the moment. So I've been bringing awareness to that and trying to be present with it. I've also noticed that I'm sitting with a lot of grief still about changes in my life, about things that have been and gone, and all things in life are impermanent, and I fully know and accept that. The thing is, some things we'd like to keep a bit longer, or some things that have been gone a while, you know, like my granddad, not seeing my nana, things like that. Things like that, they take a while to sit with, and eventually you give it space, and then maybe time passes by and you give it space again, and everything's changing. Everything's always changing. Our feelings and thoughts and emotions, we can change, you know, moment to moment, you know, and things do change, and we can't ever stop change from happening. It just does. Look at nature, it's constant changes. Everything has its season, and so too in life. So as much as we can come to terms with things happening at the time will pass, and then we have to sit with it again and come to a new level of understanding, to be able to get our heads round whatever is at the present time, because things that are okay then may not be okay now. So I'm sitting with many changes. I think as well, now I'm here. This is my first opportunity since I left the UK to just be with it all. And also being without Simon. And that's because he was a constant. Even when we split up and we managed to have time apart, he was still a constant after a certain amount of time. Can't remember what it was. And then he was a constant while we did the long distance thing. And then when I separated with him again and said, look, this can't continue, we cannot carry on in this unfair transaction, it's imbalanced and unhealthy, it's time to draw the, you know, bring it to a close. So now I'm able to process even that. So there's a heck of a lot coming up for me at the moment. And it's because I'm in that trance of unworthiness that it acts as like, it's almost like a subconscious barrier, and then you bring it to the conscious, so you're aware of the barrier, but it's still some form of barrier, and you still got to sit with that and feel into it, and eventually you'll get there. So that's where I'm at. I'm sitting in the trance of unworthiness, raising my awareness and sitting with myself. I'm also noticing about the fight, flight, freeze and fawn. Well, I'm not fawning, which has been something that I've done most of my life, trying to help and save and fix people. There's still a certain amount. I don't know. I don't think it's flight. It's possibly freeze, to be honest. It's like I'm in this stuckness. And that stuckness is, it's almost like being in really heavy, sticky mud. And being in this heavy, sticky mud and watching thoughts come and go and trying not to get caught up. Because you do. You get something come into your mind, and then your mind will take you on some magic carpet ride, or you'll dive down some rabbit hole, and then you'll go, oh, is this real? Is this true? Are you sure? You know, are you sure this is real? Are you sure this is true? So it feels real, but is it true? You know? So you're then in that state of awareness where you realise that actually you're making shit up. You know, you're getting yourself into a pickle over stuff that hasn't happened yet, that might not happen, that's just totally so you're getting yourself into a pickle over things that just might never happen, that are just so far from reality that you've got to really give your head a shake at that point and say, come on, is this worth getting yourself upset over or wound up over? And the same happens with the past as well. You can be sitting there and you get all sorts. It happens with things like trauma bonds and PTSD, particularly where things come up that haven't risen for a very, very long time. And it's a bit like going through a storm. So if life was the storm, and you're going through this storm, then all of a sudden the storm's over, or it would appear the storm is over. And now, instead of having to survive the ways that you've survived for a very, very long time, you have this strange, unusual, unfamiliar calm. And it's here in this stillness that you start noticing what the storm's brought up. Because all of a sudden you're slow enough, or you've slowed down enough to notice. You know, the adrenaline stopped going on such you've got off the roller coaster, and you kind of stood there. You know that when you get off a roller coaster, you're just trying to find solid ground, but you stood on solid ground, but it doesn't quite feel like it. It's a bit like that. You're like, okay, like, okay. can I be with this? This feels incredibly unusual and very different and very unfamiliar, and I feel so out of my comfort zone. But then you think, well, is that true? And then you think, well, what is your comfort zone? So here I am seeing that I have circumstances now which allow me to breathe. I don't have to worry about food so much, or a place to sleep at night that's safe. I didn't really have to worry about that with Martin, but whilst I was with Martin, it was in that back of my mind that this is temporary. You need to get yourself sorted. You need to move on. You need to go to where you need to go. Keep looking, kind of thing. So, and that was me. That was totally me. That was nothing that Martin did or didn't do. He's like an elephant. He really is. He's like the human form of Ganesh. An amazing chap. I've got a lot of love for him and his solar panels, which I need to take back. But to then be in this state where it's like, wow, what's going on for me right now? And look at all this stuff, and where's my focus? Where's my head at? What can I do to find some form of acceptance and regain the peace that I did have for those weeks, the peace, the buzz, almost stillness. It's like, it's really interesting that that's where I'm at, and this is how, you don't always think about these things or expect these things, and it's part of moving to a new area. You have a big upheaval or big move that you choose to, and then somewhere along the line the buzz and realization of moving is over, and you've got this is really good in all these different fronts, but I'm still grieving for the things that I didn't even know I grieved for. That's part of moving, I've still not grieved for leaving Stockport and moving to Hartlepool, or moving up to Scotland and then back down. All these things that have happened in my life where I've not been able to grieve because I've been running on autopilot, Elsa, Aki, come on. So I've been running on autopilot for all this time, and very, very, very long time. I don't know when I didn't fully run on autopilot and then come to some kind of, oh, it's okay, things are kind of going all right, and then go to another state of autopilot. And it's like, it's almost like I'm at a fairground, if life was the fairground. And I started off on some pretty big ass scary roller coasters with huge highs and huge lows, and lots of really hair raising moments where you're just holding on or trying to hold on and just scared shitless, to eventually dropping down to like the Big Dipper, where it's more like, ooh, whoa, way, yeah, oh, that was pleasant. And now it's like I've been on the carousel, almost going round, just enjoying the moment. And now I've reached the Hall of Mirrors. You know, it is very strange, and life is like that. And it's all good, and everything's got space and a place, and everything's just as it should be. But I'm not having to. I choose to take time to just learn to be, and to look at what is. Look at that sea litter. And to be around the sea litter and find some form of self-compassion and acceptance for what has been, and feel into how I'm supposed to flow forward for the highest good. Because let's face it, I didn't go from having a shitload of volunteers and people wanting to be here to having nothing because people's vans broke down, people was hitchhiking the wrong way, people got calls to return back to the UK when they were nearly in Portugal. You know, these things, it's all these things that happen. It's the universe working for the highest good. I am supposed to be on my own right now. I'm supposed to welcome my parents in a week. I think it's a week today. There's so many things that are supposed to be, and I'm supposed to have this week, this time to be and to feel and to really work with things, including Bear. And they say that a problem will arise until you realise why it's there in the first place, at which point then it will go. And I feel like Bear's here for some reason. I'm not sure what it is, but right now he's still here, and no one's turned up to offer him a home yet. And he's behaving for the majority of the time, and he is being responsive, which is brilliant. It's also really still quite difficult to be and try and meditate when he's barking, but he is barking a hell of a lot less, and I'm being able to listen to audio books or read a little or draw a little or write notes, and I've managed to do some work on the land today whilst, you know, mindfully trimming back the trees and a pomegranate bush. So absolutely fantastic, you know, and we've managed 2 decent walks, and they've eaten all the food, and the ducklings have been a pleasure to move today. You know, they've just wandered into the bucket. I've took the bucket over, and then they've all climbed out and then gone for a swim. So yeah, everything's been a blessing. Everything's a blessing every day, but today I've been so grateful for Bear's continued improvements with his behaviour. So anyway, on that note, I've kept yous long enough, and I shall keep yous updated, hopefully tomorrow. So I'm sending much love to you all. Please subscribe to the channel to keep an eye up to date with what's going on. if you already are subscribed, hit the notification bell just so you know when I stick anything out. And please do send messages, continue sending messages, because I love to hear from you. And I love to make contact and stuff. It's really cool, and hearing different people's perspectives and applying these things. So, right, I best go. From me, Elsa, Bear, Batty, and the ducklings, and all the trees and the plant life here at Creative Roots, we love you very much, and have a blessed day.